Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and today I have a tag video for you. I thought we would create some ambiance with a dark background because today I'm talking the Anti-Tbr tag. This tag was created by someone else and I will have the original video in the description box and all of the questions as well for the tag if you want to do it yourself. But let's go ahead and jump right in and talk about the books that I most likely will never read. Slight disclaimer, if you love these books, that's you. I'm not judging you. If you love any of these books, good for you. I'm glad for you. I'm glad that you got something out of them. So the first question on the tag is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And for this book, I kind of have two answers. First one, The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. I don't think everyone loves this book per se, but I do know that it was very popular and people are still reading it, and I will never read this book. He's kind of a trash human. Like, I'm linking this article in the description box about like the crazy twistiness of his life and his career. It's crazy. And I think that might actually have people like more excited to read his books, which that's totally fine. I mean, like intrigue, you know? But yeah, not for me. Never gonna read it. I don't care. I also am kind of tired of of men writing like unreliable female narrators because, I mean, first of all, I think they're unreliable because a lot of men, I think, struggle writing like actual women human beings. So, and kind of with the same vein as that, I'm not gonna say no, I will never read these books, but Riley Sager, I read Lock Every Door and I gave it 2 stars because I hated it. I just thought like the ending was just so cheap and I was just like, really? I thought it was overdone and like not believable, and I hated the ending. And I also felt like the female main character was poorly written. Just like, this is not a real human woman. So in that vein, like Home Before Dark, I have no plans on reading any more of his books. I mean, who knows, maybe one day I'll want to make a video of like reading books by authors I hate, or reading books from authors that I've hated their previous works, you know? So never say never, but probably never. The second question, a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. If you know me at all in real life, you could probably guess Thoreau. I have read Walden by Thoreau. I absolutely hated it, and I'm never, ever, ever going to read another one of his books. No interest. Same with kind of like Walt Whitman. I probably will never read any of his works, but I blame that on my 11th grade English teacher, not Walt Whitman. But yeah, so I hated Walden so much when I read it in high school, and I'm sure if I read it now as an adult, I'd appreciate it more, but I just can't. I refuse. I don't even own it anymore. I got rid of it because I just like hated it so much. So definitely never reading any more of Thoreau's works ever. The next question is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. And this is going to be a little slightly controversial, I think, for a lot of BookTube. And that would be Stephen King. I think Stephen King is sexist and racist, and he gets away with it because he's popular. I remember watching, if any of you watch Emily Fox, I'll put her channel in the description as well. I think she was talking about The Stand. I want to say it was The Stand, where she said if it hadn't been written by Stephen King, she would have never picked it up. And I feel like he gets that clout. Like, everyone automatically thinks that he's a fantastic author because he's already famous and he already has like a gazillion books. Even if they're bad. Like Pet Sematary, I know a lot of people love Pet Sematary. It is the only, I think, full-length novel that I read by Stephen King. It was the most boring book. Like, the last 10 pages out of like 400 had all of the action, and I did not like any of the female characters the way that they were written in that book, so just not a fan. And I won't say I'll never read his books, because again, there might be a day where I'm like, I'm gonna make a Stephen King video. Like, I hate Stephen King. Let's see if any of these books change my mind. So who knows? Maybe I'll make that one day, and maybe my mind will be changed one day. But currently, he's a flat no for me. The next question is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. For me, that's going to be Jasmine Guillory's book, I think was called The Wedding Date, and I read that one and I gave it 2 stars because while the story itself, it wasn't bad, the book wasn't bad, I just felt that it was very boring and I didn't like her writing style. It just wasn't for me, and the characters kind of just fell flat for me, so I did give her a second chance, and I read the first 50 pages of the proposal, and I DNF'd that because the male main character was just he kept saying and thinking sexist things that I felt were very problematic in the way that he was interacting with the main female character. I mean, it could be that he solves those issues, they solve those issues like throughout the book, like he grows and becomes better, but I could not sit through any more of that. So definitely gotta be her books. I don't think I'm gonna read any more of them or give any more of them a second shot. Never say never though, right? Maybe one day I'll want to read her holiday books, but not for me. The next question, number 5, a genre you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. And I don't know if you want to call this a genre per se, but memoirs. I can't think of a single memoir that I've read that I just really, really loved. I'm sure there will be, like, once I finally read Becoming by Michelle Obama, which I've had for how long and I still haven't read it, I'm sure I'll love that. I also just got Obama's new book, A Promised Land. I'm gonna listen to that audiobook and I'm sure I'll love it, but I don't know that that is because of them, like the Obamas themselves, writing fabulous books, or, you know, just memoirs in general. So I'm gonna say memoirs. They're just not really my thing. I don't typically go for nonfiction unless it's like narrative nonfiction, so I'm like, people aren't that interesting. Which I'm totally kidding. I'm sure there are plenty of of interesting people who have really interesting memoirs, and if you know any of them, put them in the comments. Maybe one day I'll be influenced into reading a memoir. Question number 6, a book you have bought but will never read. And she says that this can be a book that you've unhauled, and that will be Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. It'll honestly be all of her books except for The Grown Up, which I've already read and I actually really liked it. Because I found like Dark Places at the thrift store once and I just grabbed it and I pretty much like within the year unhauled it because I have no interest. I think she really writes those suspense thrillers that I have no interest in, like Gone Girl. The thing with Gone Girl is I wasn't super interested in reading it in general. I think I read like the first couple of pages and it just like wasn't grabbing my attention. And then I think my mom was watching it one day and I walked in on a particular scene and I was just like, nope, never reading that or watching the movie ever. Also, Ben Affleck is in the movie, so I'm not gonna watch or read it because of him. Not that I hate Ben Affleck. Long story short, one of my teachers made me hate him, so. Does anyone else get that way where like you hate an actor for like a dumb reason and then you just can't watch anything or read anything that they are associated with? Ben Affleck, you know, can't do it. Next question, a series you have no interest in reading or a series you started and have DNF'd. And that is the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I read the first book and hated it. I think I gave it 2 stars because I felt like, even though it's very different from the Hunger Games, I felt like it was just like kind of riding that wave of like dystopian novels following the Hunger Games, that it was like so similar to it in ways that I was just getting really annoyed with it. And then I remember specifically that because there's a love triangle, of course, in it, and for the main character's one love interest, like one page she'll say, oh, he makes my skin crawl, and then the next she's just like, but I might be in love with him. You can't be in love with someone who makes your skin crawl. maybe I put too much stock into the words that authors use, but like someone who makes your skin crawl, to me that says psychopath, you know? Like murderer, you know? So I felt like the word choice there, if she wanted to create that kind of I can't, but I like kind of forbidden love, she should have used different words. And that's how I feel about that. No interest in reading the rest of the books. I have no interest in learning what happens. I know there's like 5 or 6 books in the series, but no interest at all. And the last question is a new release you have no interest in reading. Now, I don't know what you want to consider a new release, but I'm just going to talk about books that came out this year, 2020. And there's probably a lot that I have no interest in, but one that really sticks out is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It's like the prequel Hunger Games book. I am one of those people who don't love the Hunger Games series because I think that there is not good character development in there. Why do we read books? You know, we read a book in the hopes that something like the negative thing about whatever world or person or whatever, there is change. And for me, when I was reading The Hunger Games, I felt like there was no change in Katniss. She hated the world and everyone in the beginning, and she hated the world and everyone in the end. And I just felt like she was still like, she just didn't have any growth in her. She was the same exact person she was before when the book started. So that's the tea about The Hunger Games that I don't love. So with the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I know it's like President Snow as like a game maker when he was like a young adult. I don't care. Also, like just things that I've heard about this book, because I think it's like what, between 400 and 600 pages. It's really freaking long, and most people, like most reviews or videos that I've seen talking about it are all about like, this book is way too long. The first like 60% or over half of it is just nothing. Like nothing happens, and it's boring and it's slow, and I'm just like, I don't love the series in general. I am not going to read this one. I'm not a completionist. I don't need this book, you know? I don't want to say never. Maybe when I'm like, I don't know, if I get really sick or I injure myself and I'm bedridden for weeks and I run out of all of my other books that I have to read, maybe then I'll read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Probably not, though. No interest. And that is the Anti-Tbr Tag. Like I said at the beginning, if any of these are your favorite books in the world or your favorite authors in the world, no hate, no shade. I'm not saying that you're terrible for loving these books or these people, although I might judge you a little bit if you love Thoreau. I'm totally kidding. I won't. This was fun, just all in good fun, just talking about basically like my personality and what I like in books and why I won't read some books that other people may love. If you want to answer any of these questions, like I said before, the questions will be in the description box, and you can go ahead and just copy and paste them right into the comments and then like put your answers there if you want to. I think it's really fun to talk about books that, you know, we have no interest in reading. Any controversial things about these books or authors, let me know. I love drama. Don't we all? Thank you for watching this video. I will have everything in the description box, and I hope you stick around to see all of my upcoming content. I'm really excited to get into the books I'll actually read for 2021, and I will see you in a new video soon. Bye.